monk professes vows because they help guide his life. It's in married life. People take vows because it guides their life together. And the vows do the same thing for us. They guide our life.
What are the vows a Benedictine monk professes? Well, there are three: obedience, stability, and conversatio morum, conversion of life.
When we make vows, we make a free choice. I'm choosing to do this. It's not as if someone is telling me I have to do this. And so by making vows, one has a responsibility toward the community, toward the abbot, and especially toward God to be as we've been created to be as a result of that. And so it also vows gives us a framework and a guideline for how we should be living our life.
The vow of obedience, I think, is probably the root vow. It's related to the first commandment. You shall not have any other gods besides me. If we do not accept God as our master and accept that we are God's children, your foundation begins to crumble and crack. It's like you haven't built the house on solid ground. You built it on sand. And so the winds and the rains come and they start tearing away at what you have built or what God intends for you to build.
In our modern culture, we highly prize self-will. I am the master of my fate. For most of us, that leads to disaster. But the relinquishing of self-will that is called for in monastic life actually allows us to grow in freedom to jettison the attachments that I have that really do impinge on what I think is my own self-determination. In relinquishing so many things, I'm allowing God to shape and form me.
The vow of stability means that I am offering myself to a certain community, to a certain place, and for the long haul.
The two aspects of stability is one is geographic, the other is of the heart. So when one is living away from the monastery, where is my heart? My heart is still with that community, that group of people, and that what I am doing away from the monastery is part of what sustains the community.
The idea is I'm giving myself to this community. It's probably similar to your one's family. We may not be living with members of our family, but I'm going to do what I need to do for that community, for the greater good of that community, wherever I may be.
One did not have stability. How could one have community? There has to be something that pulls us together and something that keeps us together through thick and thin, through good times and bad times, and ups and downs. I vow to be with this group of people till I die.
St. Benedict has in his rule the expression that one of the promises a monk makes is conversatio morum, and much ink has been spilled over the centuries as to what exactly that means. It's a rare expression even in St. Benedict's time. We translate it today as fidelity to the monastic way of life. All the little components that make up monastic life, the dailiness, the prayer, the humility, the patience, the perseverance, the dying to self. It means that I am as faithful to that as I possibly can be, and if I haven't done so well today, there's always the opportunity tomorrow to try again.
There has to be a real degree of introspection, of examining your life, and then to incorporate these things into a whole manner of living. And the ultimate goal, as St. Benedict says, the purpose for coming is to seek God, and the sort of goal is union with God. And these are means to to arrive there.
And the joy comes when we know we have peace in doing what God has called us to do. Does living the vows then become tedious sometimes? Yes. Yes, it does. But that's the part of life that is human.
It would be nice to think that once a monk professes vows, he is immediately poor, chaste, obedient, stable. But vows are a process, and it takes a lifetime.
A lot of people think that there are these big, profound moments of conversion. Sometimes it can happen, but mostly it's the day-to-day effort to live it out. The grace is to keep at it, and you have to consider that taking the vow as an act of faith, and then to get through the difficult parts is about trust in God primarily, but also trust that you'll see through this, get through this. Then it becomes a real act of cautious faith that this is where God wants you to be.